or addressing growth opportunities. And that's really where we've come in. Okay, so in terms of our presence, the company started off in Singapore. We are headquartered here in Singapore, and we have offices across the region. So that's India, China, Japan, Korea, up in North Asia. And then in the ASEAN region, we have offices in pretty much most major markets in the region as well. Okay, so in terms of what we do and the services that we offer, you'll see a chart here on the slides. Most of the work that we do, we will design based on our clients' needs, but it can be categorized into various research and consulting projects. So you've got understanding customers, competitors, identifying partners. In terms of methodology, we span across consumer research as well as B2B research and ethnography. On the consulting side, there are various services that we offer, ranging from sales lead handling, channel health management, go-to-market strategies, cross-border consulting, internationalization, and for some of our government agencies, we also do some CSR-oriented consulting. So this is just some of our clients. What we've done here is we just put together the logos of some of our clients. What you will see here is a lot of Fortune 500 organizations, very large organizations. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because while working with these organizations, we've really been able to gain a very unique insight on what the future will look like and what these industry leaders are actually doing in Southeast Asia and in other emerging markets. So with that, let me introduce our main speaker for today, my colleague, Ingrid Riet. Ingrid has over 10 years of experience in the market research and consulting fields. So she's worked in Europe, she speaks French, Spanish, and reluctantly she also speaks Bahasa Indonesia. Ingrid holds a master's degree from the University of South Australia, and she's currently also pursuing her PhD in business administration. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Ingrid, who's really been the designer and the mastermind behind a lot of findings that we'll be sharing today. Over to you, Ingrid.
Thank you, Jagmeet, for the nice introduction. Maybe you want to unmute. Okay, so let me move on to here. Yes, so I'm very delighted to be your presenter today on the topic of COVID tech boom in Southeast Asia. So the background basically of the research is we have noticed over the last 3 months that the way people live and work have changed. What is still unclear is how this change will remain over time and the nature of this change. So that's the reason why we decided to conduct this survey. Our objective was basically to refresh or to update understanding of consumer perception and use of technology. So we know that the COVID has been a challenge for many of our clients, but there's also lots of opportunities that lies ahead. There will be no space for everyone. Those who listen to the market, those who adapt to the market changes will be more able to grow. So let's kick in and move on to the survey itself. So during my about 30-minute presentation, first I'm going to share with you the methodology that we have been used for this survey. After that, I'm going to move on to some key takeaways. The first one will be about COVID trends. What do consumer needs? What really matters to them? What matters to them just before the COVID kick in and also in a 9 months time frame from now. After that, we're going to move on to specifics on category and products. Which are the product and the category that have most potential post-COVID and why? The third takeaway will be about barriers and pain points. Why do consumers postpone or are reluctant to buy technology products? What are some mitigation that we might think that would be great to consider? We're going to wrap up on this presentation with some questions. So feel free to, as Japik mentioned before, to write down the question that you may have in the chat box. Our colleague Mary will consolidate them, and the Spire team will reply towards the end of the presentation. So starting with the background of the survey, quickly. So we conducted the survey in 4 different markets: Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. We use an online 15-minute survey in those 4 markets, 200 per market, so a total of 800 sample size. We were not looking at everyone in this market. We're looking at the urban and the internet savvy. So basically those people who are more willing to buy technology products and have the means to do so. To make this survey more interesting, we also wanted to see if there were some differences in terms of perception between the workforce of today and the workforce of tomorrow. So whenever possible or whenever relevant, we will provide you granularity between the 18 to 25 years old and the 35 and more. So let's move on and start sharing the takeaway of the survey. A bit of slide orientation first. So we asked consumers where were the top 3 reasons for them to buy a technology product. The numbers here show the percentage of people who say they will buy the technology product for the reason that is shown below. This is in a pre-COVID context, so about 2 to 3 months before today. And we have also nuanced this information by country. So they are ranked alphabetically. It would be the same all across the report. So Indonesia first, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. What is striking in the pre-COVID context is that improving comfort is the most important thing for consumers. So you might be wondering, in the context of technology, what would that mean? So I'm going to give you some example. So for technology, high-tech mouse, it might be simply an ergonomic design. For a smart light, it might mean simply peace of mind. For a smart vacuum cleaner, it might mean just less chores. For smart cooking device, it might be simply to be able to do the cooking from home instead of going to a restaurant to have chef cooking at home. For smart health device, it might be just to reduce the transportation. So basically, might mean lots of different things depending on the product itself. All of these items may not apply equally to every product or every category, but that's really to give you a broad overview of what was the situation in a pre-COVID situation. So improved comfort, once again, is the #1 cause of concern, interest, sorry. And #2 is to improve productivity. So by improving productivity, we mean providing better results compared to other means. Typically, it means to do the task faster and to reduce the mundane activities. There was a second layer or second tier of area that were interested or triggering interest for consumers to buy technology products. Included also fun and entertainment, reducing energy consumption, and improving health. So really second layer. Some slight differences across country. So for Malaysia, for example, fun entertaining was a bit less important. Similarly, for Thailand, reducing energy was less appealing, but health, on the other hand, was much more appealing. So that was all the pre-COVID situation about 2 to 3 months back. Now, let's look at the same information in a post-COVID context, so about 9 months from now. So we're not looking just after the lockdown is finished, but more in the medium-term kind of trends. The first thing is striking is the top 5 elements are totally different from what they were in a pre-COVID situation. The top 2 still remain the same, improving comfort and improving productivity. But there's a twist to it. Improving comfort used to be #1, now it's #2. And improving productivity was ranked 2nd, now it's ranked 1st. So deep diving in each of these 2 first items. So improving productivity basically hasn't improved really. It has remained the same, or at least for Singapore and Malaysia, has slightly increased, it remained the same for Indonesia and Malaysia, has slightly increased for Singapore, about 3 percentage points, but has decreased for Thailand. Comfort, on the other hand, has decreased significantly for every single market that we consider in this survey. A bit less for Thailand compared to the rest, but overall decreased significantly. So basically, productivity in a nutshell remained roughly the same, but improving comfort is something that has dropped significantly. What is also interesting there, you can see that safety and security is now ranked third. It was not appearing in the top 5 in a pre-COVID context. Providing more information, which has nothing to do with news and social media, but more so to share the usage of the technology product in real time or not, has increased into importance. Improving health, even though it's ranked in the exact same order as the previous slide in a post-COVID context, the numbers or the interest basically of consumer has improved significantly, except in Thailand where it met about the same. I think it's increased by 1 percentage point. So if I want to summarize those two starting slides that I've shared with you, it seemed that people are really going back to the basic. If you remember Maslow pyramid of needs, really focusing on the lower base, safety, security, health, anything that has to do with entertainment, socialization, and comfort has really reduced in terms of importance. So knowing that, we're now going to move into actual product, how these changing needs are translating in terms of products. The entertainment and lifestyle category first. This is something that seems to be losing traction according to what we've just shared. Still is a category that people purchase first. And consequently, there are lots of high potential, as we will see in certain products, because there are also, some alternative into the leisure space are starting to appear. Second product category will be the office productivity product category. So it's typically a product category that people are really slow into adoption. There's lots of reason for that, multiple user or simply the purchasing and the user may not be the same. This category has been affected heavily over the last 3 months, and many of the change seems to be here to stay. So that's why we thought it would be interesting to deep dive on some of the products here. Third product category, safety, health, and fitness. This is a category with typically a very fast cycle. With COVID, we'll see there will be some changes there. High potential, but also high concern regarding certain feature of such product characteristic. In particular, anything that has related with consumer privacy, as we will see. Finally, energy saving category, as we see, is a bit of shift downward within this product category in terms of consumer interest. So let's see what happened when it comes to products. Going to start first with the entertainment and lifestyle product category. So this category was defined to consumer as follows, so technology product that you use during your leisure time for your hobby or as a lifestyle. We also show to consumer a certain number of examples, followed with pictures and definitions. So the product I'm going to share with you today in terms of take up or new interest are OTT TV, video game, high-tech headset, smart TV, digital voice assistant, digital wallet, smart cooking appliances. So before moving on to the slide, a bit of slide orientation. So in this slide, I'm going to show you the cumulative market penetration, which is basically how many people have purchased one of this product already. Oops, there you go. So that's for the sub 25, 80 to 25 years old. So number in black means number of people who have purchased already a product from this category. The number at the top show the percentage of people who haven't purchased any of this product category yet, who are willing to do so around 9 months time. The same information for the 35 and above. So what you can see, even though this product category seems to be losing traction in terms of concept, there's still lots of room for growth, in particular for Thailand, who have a double-digit growth. The growth seems to be a bit slower for the 18 to 25 years old compared to the 35 and above. So when we're looking at actual products, so here in this slide, I'm showing you the result of the penetration of people who own at least one product for the 4 countries. So again, they're ranked in alphabetical order. And you can see all the products that I share with you. They're ranked in exact same order every time, so it's easier for you to follow. So for 18 to 25 years old, digital wallets, smart TV, OTT TV, online game are really the top product that people are currently owning or were earning a couple of months back. And here I'm showing you which product are more likely to boom in the coming few months. So what is really interesting here is we can see that products who actually are not only within this category, but also following other trends that are external to technology product are likely to boom. That's an example of smart cooking appliances. Cooking and being healthy is a fashion, so that's why we can see a higher potential growth. Digital assistant, also it seems to be a very promising product. The way I interpret that is it can be used for entertainment, but also for other purposes, such as for business and productivity. Product like smart TV, OTT TV seems to have also a high potential in certain countries, not just because the base was a bit lower, but also because more people are staying at home, and also because this product can be shared across several people within the same household. So the use seems to be wider. That's a number for the 35 years old and above. So the top two products this time are digital wallet and smart TV. And in terms of potential growth, we can see, even though the numbers are slightly different, that the product that seems to be most promising are exactly the same. With the slight differences, high-tech headphone didn't seem to be really appealing before the COVID-19 to this generation, and it's much more appealing now. One of the reasons could be simply because they were thinking initially not to use it for this product category, entertainment, such as video game, and now they're thinking of using it for different purposes. Moving on to the second product category, office productivity. So that's the way it was defined to consumers. Product that helps you to have the work done in a more efficient manner. So the product that were included in this category are digital pen, high-tech mouse, Bluetooth LiDAR projector, cloud storage, online learning platform, e-reader, and video conferencing. So similarly, in black, we have the percentage of people who own 2 to 3 months back at least one product from this category, and the number above shows the number of people who will acquire their first product from this category. Green, the 18 to 25 years old, and in blue, the 35 years old and above. This category obviously seems much more promising than the one that we shared before. Most of the segment growth is a double-digit number. Thailand seems a bit behind compared to the other country. This can be explained because there's more interest in Taiwan in health-related product. It's typically a category that is purchased much later compared to other categories. This is why it's a bit behind. In terms of actual product for the 18 and 25 years old first, so we can see the top two products were really video conferencing and cloud storage. When we look at product with most potential within 9 months time, we can see there's some product like a tech mouse that seems to really being striking and really booming. Also, we can see that some very small value technology productivity products seems also to have lots of potential. So I'm thinking right now a digital pen and laser projector. Cloud storage seems to be highly valuable to most consumers. The uptake seems to be really high. The only product that doesn't seem to really have a high uptake, at least in 9 months time frame, is video conferencing. I think one of the reasons is the uptake is so high at the moment, is unlikely to continue. It's reaching its peaks now, and probably for some specific people, it might even go down. So we're sharing the exact same information now for the 35 and above years old. Similarly, video conferencing and cloud storage are really the product that most people owned before COVID. When you look at growth, many products seems to have a very high percentage. Similarly, high-tech mouse is extremely high, and anything gadget related also. The online learning platform here seems to be really appealing more for Indonesia than any other country. I think this goes back to the online learning, to the master pyramid that I shared before. People are more focusing on a very basic need, and self-fulfillment, for example, is really high in the master pyramid, and it has been, for the time being, relatively deprioritized. Moving on to the next product category, safety, health, and fitness. This is a category that seems to have a really high potential. As we've seen earlier, anything related to health and safety seems to be much more important to consumers now. So the way the category was defined during the survey was a product that helps you to monitor any of the following: nutrition, exercise, healthcare, for prevention or for treatments. So the product which I'm going to share the growth today would be fitness watch, wearable medical devices, fitness application, smart shoes, smart locks, smart vacuum cleaner. So similar thing, showing you for the 18 to 25 years old, the penetration or the number of people who own at least one product from this category in black, and the potential growth in 9 months time frame on the top of the icon. That's for the younger consumers, and that's for the older consumers. Something that is very interesting in the health product category, as we can see, the younger consumer own more product in this category all across the board. That's the only categories like that. The other category has at least one country in which a 35 and above own more than the younger consumers. As I mentioned before, Thailand is much more interested in this product category than the other countries in comparison. So typically for Thailand, this is the second product category that they will purchase. Now, similar to what we've seen before, we're looking in deep dive into the actual products. So the top 2 products that people actually own pre-COVID was smartwatch and fitness application tracker. And when we look at the growth or the opportunity in a medium to long term, we can see basically every single product pretty much, most of them with double-digit numbers. So there's extremely high potential within this product category, even those who are higher penetration even before the COVID. Some slight nuances depending on the age of the respondent. Smartlock relatively is more important for those who are aged 18 to 25 years old compared to those who are a bit older. Similarly, for health wearable is something that appeals much more for the 35 and above compared to the younger generation. Smart vacuum cleaner is really appealing for both, and so are all the other products. Something also I wanted to mention, you might see that the percentage overall for the 18 to 25 years old seems to be a bit higher compared to those 35 and above. One of the reasons is when the younger consumer decide to buy a product from a product category, typically they will buy not just one, but more than one, which could explain why the percentage seems to be higher. So when I say that the health wearable were more appealing to the older generation is in relative comparison to the other products. Moving on to energy saving, the last product category that will share the result today. So it was defined to consumers like this: internet connected household products that can be enabled, monitored, and managed remotely. So we really focus on the high-tech end of this kind of products. We consider smart thermostats, smart light bulbs, and smart plug and switches. So sharing the cumulative market penetration of the 18 to 25 years old first, so we can see it's much lower than any other product, so typically the last product category that is purchased. And for the mature people, 35 and above, still much lower. What is interesting about this product category, it seems to be appealing way more to those who are aged 35 and above compared to the younger people. But let's move on in product specific. For the 18 to 25 years old, as well as we will see a bit later, 35 and above, products are ranked in the exact same order. So the interest and the current ownership is the same. In terms of appeal of each product, we can see for Malaysia and for Thailand, these products are way more appealing for the young in comparison to for the mature people, where Indonesia and Thailand are more appealing. So one of the things here striking is really that smart thermostat, who is technically the device that could really make a difference for the environment or in terms of costing, is really not as much appealing as it could. So there might be multiple reasons why people like product from this product category. Is not just environment. Environment alone basically doesn't sell. Okay, so we've seen before that consumers are really changing in terms of the entrance and why make them buy products. We also saw that many products, regardless of the category come from, could have a very high chance of growing and being having more uptake. The only thing is this will only happen see if consumer concern actually addressed. So it's really important to deep dive into this section to understand what are the problems and why are people refraining from buying technology products. The number one reason cited by the consumer in our survey were private information issue. Consumer are, as a whole, extremely concerned about the way the information is collected, stored, and shared. And that's all across the board. Even more so for those who are laggards or late adopters and those who are 35 and above. So there could be lots of mitigation issues. Sometimes this kind of fear is not real, so it's important that marketers address that by explaining what exactly is being shared. Another thing that marketers can do easily is to give them the option to decide what to share or what not to share. That could really help to mitigate this issue. Second thing, making people lazy and less creative. The technology sometimes take over people's mind and in a way that is not always what consumer wants. I'm going to give you an example for smart lights. Smart light can be programmed to switch on and light at will, but family with young children may not want this to be set up exactly as the device wants to. They might want to teach their children to switch on and to switch off the light. So basically what I'm trying to say here is it would be great for this device in order to get a more uptake, to give consumer a bit of control. They can really go and deep dive in the back end of the device to be able to change the features that they believe are more relevant to them. Of course, this is way more salient for those who are aged 18 to 25, who are more tech savvy as opposed to those who are 35 and above. So that was the top two concern to address. There were other concerns also that appears by a second tier or less important concern, one of them not matching the expected benefit. As we have seen in the earlier slide, people are extremely interested and they find the main reason for them to buy a technology product is the productivity and the benefits they will get from the product. So it's really important that what is communicated to consumer corresponds really to what they get. Making product unnecessarily complicated, that's again more something that laggards or people who are less technology savvy were worried about, and also to those who are 35 and above. So really ease of use in terms of product characteristics is something that is highly valued for consumers. One way to mitigate that would be simply for Indonesia, for example, where they're very interested in product review, just to share with them or to invite them to give review or to read reviews. Also, any kind of training, especially when people are working remotely, something that's highly valued. So it permits basically not to suffer from the setup, basically, or helps them to, when it's urgent, especially for technology product, when you don't want to spend lots of time training and in a learning curve, to help people to not to feel that technology is actually complicated, to ease basically the adoption. And of course, not all are spending money. Technology product I perceive expensive. It's really important that people receive that they perceive real benefits from the product they are purchasing. So not worth the money is a bit more salient in Malaysia and Thailand. So that's in a nutshell the sharing that I wanted to share with you today. So just to summarize a bit what we discussed just now. So 3 key takeaways. First, consumers are really changing. Marketer needs to adjust to these changes in order to really take advantage of the opportunity that may come to them. We are seeing a shift towards the lower part of the Maslow pyramid. So anything that is basic in terms of health, security, safety is something that appeals more to consumers today. Anything that is more socialized, personal development appeals to people a bit less at this, within the coming few months. Second, sharing. In terms of product category, we can see that in the productivity category, office productivity category, as well as the safety, health, and fitness product category, the product cycle has shortened dramatically. So that gives a lot of opportunity to marketers. Product in this category overall have very, very high prospects. Products belonging to the entertainment category or the energy saving category may need some other things to help them to be sold. So either being used by multiple users, by using different applications, that could be something that could help them to still strive in these circumstances. Finally, in order for all this to happen and all the opportunity to even to exceed the opportunity, many marketers need to address still the consumer concern, in particular the privacy regarding the private information, as well as the control that they could have on the technology, basically not to make them feel lazy about it. So Mary has been, I understand, capturing the question that you might have during this presentation. So I will pass on to Mary so she can share a question, and the team in Spire here will reply to these questions.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me well? Well, thank you, Ingrid, for that presentation, the very enlightening presentation. Now I'd like to read off some of the questions that's posed by our attendees. The first one be that Malaysia seemed to be more digital wallet tech savvy compared to Singapore. Why is that so? Or why do you think that is so?
So when we saw that result, Malaysia wallet penetration being higher, it was a little bit surprising. But then if you look at what's happened in government actually has been boosting digital payments. So Khazanah National actually was giving consumers incentives. If I remember correctly, it's about 30 RM. Okay, I'll try one more time. I'll try one more time. So what's happened in Malaysia, just when we were doing our survey or a couple of months just before that, was that the government actually announced a stimulus for e-wallets. And they were giving away, below a certain income group, they were giving away literally money. I think it was 30 RMB for using digital wallet. And because it was so close to when we were doing our survey, that might have spiked up the numbers, is my theory to this.
Thank you, Chutney. All right, the second question is, what does the survey data tell us about the kinds of activities people have been doing at home during the lockdowns?
Okay. I mean, the way the question was asked is basically to compare what was happening before the lockdown and what we expect will happen in 9 months. So we can see there's quite a number of products which are specific to the activity that were done at home that have a higher prospect. From the top of my mind, you have smart vacuum cleaner, you have smart cooking appliances. So this, or even in a leisure activities, there's some activities that are more striving now because people were less likely for a while to do them outside of the home. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Nope, sounds about right. Okay, moving on. The next question, why are environmental products not as highly ranked as the other category?
Okay, that's a very good question. I think the root cause, can you?
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So I think the root cause or the problem environment project have is consumer are, I wouldn't say not interested in it, but there's something that really doesn't sell. They are interested in many other things. So in order to help environment products to be sold more, a few things need to be done. They need to be advertised or presented also to have other values such as productivity and comfort. Comfort is something that consumer value also a lot in this product category. So that's something that needs to be tackled, really. In addition to that, to help the uptake in reality for environment product, it's important to make sure that what marketers are selling is really aligned with what consumers are perceiving of the products, and also ideally aligned with the public policies. all this together could help really to the promising product to really take off and happen.
Okay, now we have a question about electric vehicles, and that is, do you think electric vehicles would lose their popularity since environmental products are losing their ranking?
Firstly, can you guys hear me? I'm just gonna, yeah, okay, thank you. I don't think that's the case. I think, so we've got to separate this issue between PMDs and electric vehicles. The PMDs, to a very large extent, have been stifled by regulation pretty much across the region, you know, on what type of usage or license is required and things like that. So that's sort of, it's really a question on sort of government policy or how the regulations will play out. On the electric vehicles themselves, I think that's a great potential, but that might not be a conversation to be had with the consumers. That might need to start off with public transportation systems and then the vehicle makers, and there is a lot of policy that's promoting that already. So yes, EV is still going to be the future. It might not be a consumer-driven decision. It might be more a regulation-driven decision or sort of manufacturers-driven decision.
Okay, thank you, Japneet. All right. We have another one on privacy concern of users. In the US, Huawei issue is a big concern. What are your thoughts on this? Will we see government push back on certain types of smart technologies, maybe also from specific countries?
Maybe I'll take this one as well. So the Huawei issue is quite big, and we see this happen to a very large extent in the US. I know that in some other countries in Asia, there's a consumer movement that's saying, well, you know, your data is going to get stolen, or TikTok is going to steal everything off your phone, or Huawei's doing it. From some of the conversations that we've seen and some of the indications that we haven't sort of reported in this particular presentation, there is definitely a concern about data privacy, but we also see consumers willing to share their private data as long as they get something back in return. So if it's just governments or technology companies stealing my data, then definitely that's a huge concern. But as long as I'm giving it willingly, people are happy to share a lot of their private information. So what companies need to do, both on the hardware side and on technology platforms and software, is assure customers that they'll be transparent about how their data is being used.
Okay, thanks, Japneet. Now, okay, let's see the next one. If COVID lockdowns come back in future, will that cause more tech adoption from older consumers? I'm not quite sure I understand.
So I'm interpreting the question as because the lockdown has led to greater penetration of technology. If it happens again, then will it give it another push? My opinion is that this lockdown's already pushed us to a very, very large extent into the future. And, 3 or 4 months of forcing the elder generation, or actually across the board, forcing consumers to use technology has already started to reap benefits. So that penetration is there, or it's coming in the next few months already. In the next year, definitely. Any comments on this, Ingrid?
So if I may add also, what is really important to see here is once the people have access or used a technology product once, this experience help to adopt more product within this category and outside this category as well. So this is really a good thing for technology to push people beyond what they would normally do to adopt certain products. So then we can reap the benefits across lots of different product categories and other products as well.
All right. Maybe we'll take a couple more. Okay. The next one, Smartlock seemed to be more appealing to young people. Could there be potential to raise sales to older demographic segments?
So I'll take that one, I guess. Actually, it's more appealing to the younger consumers in comparison to other products that were shown in the survey, which including health wearable devices. Actually, it's really appealing still for the mature consumer, and I believe it's not something that should be really prioritized just to the young. They're looking for different things for different reasons. The younger consumer, the 18 to 25, and probably are looking into starting soon a family, so they were looking to specific features, whereas the older people might looking for different features. So I think there's a high prospect for both for different reasons.
All right, I've got two questions on education. One is, do you think educational sector will move to more online or digital platform? The other one is, will there be more demand for education products for home-based learning for children?
Well, I'm going to take this one. My opinion on the topic, not just based on the survey, is that probably online is the way to go. What I could foresee, that's a bit beyond the scope of this survey, but I could see a consolidation of certain big, large universities. It would be easier for people to access university that they were not be able to access before because of the location. So I could see really the big university to really take advantage of this and have much higher tech. It would be much harder for those universities that are a bit lower level to survive. That's my personal opinion. I think for children, the challenge is significantly different. I mean, I've been experiencing myself. Remote learning for children is a very difficult challenge altogether. And I don't foresee this to be a norm in the short term, at least, or at least not for very young children.
Okay. Now I think we'll just take one last question. And it is said COVID changed the way of life, but some of the increase shown in your survey should be for the short term, knee-jerk reaction under lockdown. Which tech products or services could be seeing high demand for the long term going forward?
You're right. It's saying that COVID-19 have raised and changed the consumer perception in a short term in many ways. But I think especially the changes regarding health, safety, and also some regarding productivity are more likely to be here for the longer term. People have changed radically the way they live and they work, and I don't think this is going to change again tomorrow. Some of the things will revert, as we have seen. For example, a calling platform might not be that appealing in quite a number of months back, but anything relating to health, when people have tested it, I guess it's more likely to be here to stay.
Maybe I'll just add quickly to what Ingrid mentioned, and this is again, it's not in the data, but it's just my personal opinion. If you look at a lot of the knee-jerk reaction or a lot of the technology and practices that have happened during this lockdown period, this technology was available and was slowly rising even before the COVID crisis. The COVID crisis hasn't sort of created a demand or a need for something that was not existing or something that was earth-shattering. For example, we were talking about education just a minute ago. The online education and the digital education existed and was already growing before the crisis came along. So, I want to sort of put that in context to say that some of these knee-jerk reactions, they're not as temporary as we might think. These trends were already very slowly coming, and COVID only just sort of accelerated them and given us a bit of a jump into where we were eventually going anyway. That's sort of my my take on how technology adoption is going to pan out.
Okay, that's the last question.
Okay, so with that, maybe I'll just take this opportunity of thanking everybody. I'm just going to quickly flash up our contact details and the email. I think it's on, or no, well, I think you've got those in our registrations. We will be sending this out. I'm sorry, I was just informed that we don't have that ready. But me and my team, we will send out our contact details to everybody who's registered. If you don't have that oh, there it is. So you'll see our website and our email address there. Please feel free to reach out to us. You can find this presentation. I think we'll send it out, and you can see it on our Facebook page as well. It's being recorded and broadcasted right now. So thank you so much. If you have any other questions, do feel free to write into us at the email that's provided below, or give us a post on LinkedIn or on Facebook. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you at the next webinar. Stay safe.